When you run a business, the buck stops with you. It's all on you to figure out what to do next, what needs to be solved, what direction to take. We understand the hardest decision a business owner faces is what's the next move. You shouldn't have to do it alone. That's why we're bringing the best minds in the home inspection industry together for Momentum, a one-day business building workshop connecting you with the guidance you deserve. Register for Momentum today to reserve your spot and take advantage of our early 50% off pricing. Click the link to register.
All right, welcome back to Inspection Pro Joe. Today it's more like Inspection Pro because we don't have a Joe with us, but we have Dave Iava, CEO of Pair Payments with us today. Pair Payments is the host of the Momentum series events, so we have Dave on to give a little bit of a teaser for his topic. Another special edition episode, just like we had with Brad Williams. Dave's going to give you a little sneak peek of his topic, what he'll be speaking about at Momentum, and we're really excited to share this with everyone and get some excitement going for that. So Dave, thank you for joining us today. What is your topic and what will we be seeing from you at Momentum?
Well, thanks, Jake, for having me. The Momentum series is I'm really excited for it, especially in the world of home inspection, because a lot of the events that you go to, you're focused on CEUs, you're focused on getting information about how to inspect the house properly. But we don't touch very often. A lot of these conferences don't touch very often on profitability and actually the steps to build your business in an effective way, so you can start seeing some good growth. Mm-hmm. And so focusing on that, our goal is to kind of plug Momentum in ahead of some of these conferences, so that we could actually say, hey, this is how you build your business. This is how you get to the next level. Maybe you're a single inspector and you want to move on to hiring a few people and starting to see some forward growth. So that's what we're really all about. So my topic is focusing on profitability within the business. Mm-hmm. And it's often neglected. When you're in business and you really want to grow successfally, you should be able to answer questions like this. If someone says to you, what percentage growth did you have this year? That should be at the top of your tongue. What do your numbers look like? What was your revenue last month? What was your cost last month? What did your P&L say at the end of the month? It's very important to understand your numbers so you know exactly where you're going. And not even, a lot of people, they have an idea in a basic way, mm-hmm. but you need to be studying those numbers all the time so you have a growth plan. And what we're going to focus on in my lecture is the first thing is we're going to talk about is there's over time through a lot of experts in the field of home inspection, they've been able to identify several reasons why home inspectors are failing. Mm-hmm. And tracking profitability is a big one. Marketing is huge. Most inspectors fail because they do not pay enough attention to marketing. And Brad and Nikki are both going to focus on that and mm-hmm. Momentum on how to develop that marketing plan. And then the other aspect of why home inspectors fail is a lot of them never actually get started. The industry found that 60% of the people that engage in becoming a home inspector, after they go through the studies, never even pull the trigger and start.
Wow.
So there's a lot of potential people in the marketplace that could get out there and build a pretty successful business for themselves. But, it's like you're never going to hit a home run until you walk up to the plate. You got to get started. That's first and foremost. Yeah. So the second after we're done talking about what are the commonalities that lead to lack of profitability in a home inspection business, we're going to focus on the 25 do's and don'ts that are going to be the things that we need to do and the things that you absolutely have to avoid mm-hmm. to have a profitable home inspection business and be able to use that money within that profitability to grow the business moving forward. And then we're going to, at the end of that, after we're done with our 25 do's and don'ts, we're going to get into how to reinvest in your business and how to reinvest in yourself as the owner. How do you measure the amount of money that should be going back into the business, and how do you track the ROI on that investment? And then moving forward is how do you invest yourself? Because we all start a business, mm-hmm. and one thing that a lot of people don't pay attention to is what's your exit strategy. And you need to have that exit strategy as part of the plan when you start, mm-hmm. okay? In order to know when I'm done, when am I getting out, and what does my life look like after I'm finished? And that requires investment not only in your business, reinvestment in your business, but reinvestment in yourself.
Yeah.
So that's the game plan. That's the areas we're going to attack.
So one thing that stands out to me immediately is that this is not some financial speaker coming in just to talk, broad strokes on how to manage your small business financially. This is someone, Dave, who's coming in and saying, hey, I worked with the industry, I've researched the industry. This is finance tips and advice for your industry specifically, right? That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. We're my presentation for the event is really going to be the business aspect of it and focus on how you actually use that profitability for growth. And you're going to find in the other segments, you're going to see how it connects. Especially when we talk about marketing. Mike Crow did an analysis over 30 years of gathering information where he determined that 80% of home inspectors, 80% of them fail because of lack of marketing. And he actually got that down to one specific part, is that the successful home inspectors, they reach out and make contact with 10 realtors per week.
Wow.
Okay. So we're going to get that specific. So it's a big question of home inspectors who are listening to this. Are you outreaching 10 per week? And not 10 this week and none next week and 10 the week after, but 10 per week. Are you staying consistent? And if you stay consistent over time and over, a secondary reach out to this realtor or a tertiary reach out to this realtor, you start building a lot of momentum going forward, hence the name momentum,
Yep.
But you start building that momentum going forward, and people really start to get to know who you are. So it's not about 10 new realtors all the time. You have to circle back around, make those contacts again. And most home inspectors fail to do that. And as a result, their growth will either stagnate or they'll start going the other way. Because what happens in business, and we're all guilty of this. I'm guilty of this too. Is when things start flowing, when you start putting the effort in to talk to those realtors. Over time, what starts to happen is your business starts going again, and then you get a little bit busier, and you start paying less attention to the reach outs and the calls to the home inspectors. All of a sudden, that 10 turns to 8, then it turns to 6, then it turns to 5, then it's 10 one week, none the next week, and the momentum starts going the other way. And the thing that people have to realize is this is not a stagnant environment. Okay,
yeah.
The ball's going to roll one way or the other. It's going to roll uphill or downhill. So the second you stop being consistent with that marketing effort, you start going downhill. It may take a minute. You have to play a little catch up because the momentum has taken you, but then that momentum runs out, and then the momentum starts the other way. So that's one specific area. And then Brad and Nikki are, when they have their segments, they're going to be discussing on how do you get to these people more consistently and more aggressively. Because if you do that part, your business is going. I mean, it's a 100% certainty. These aren't fictional numbers. If you put those 10 calls out and then you fine tune what you're saying and what you're doing when you go out and meet with those realtors, it's an absolute certainty that growth will occur.
Yeah.
Okay. And why do we know this? Because it's been modeled over 30 years. We know it works.
Yeah.
So that effort has to be put in. So that's just one small piece of what we're going to talk about. And, and dealing with the finances of your specific business and having that financial game plan in place is something that, Joey D'Onofrio is going to focus on in detail and relate it directly to the home inspection business from his experiences. So you're going to get a broad look, then you're going to get a micro look at the same time. So you should be able to come out of this out of momentum with a pretty good game plan. If you apply what you're learning here, you could really and again you look at a lot of home inspectors and they're always fine tuning. They're getting their CEUs, they're fine tuning how they're doing a sewer inspection, fine tuning how they do water testing and radon inspections and all the things that they do on the daily basis. But a lot of them aren't focused on the small aspects of how do you run a business.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, Jake, obviously I've known you for a long time, so one of the things I do is I've been coaching baseball for 28 years, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm constantly learning from other coaches, constantly fine-tuning that aspect of the game in order to get better and keep moving forward, because that's the only way you coach for that long.
Yeah.
You have to be constantly moving and constantly changing and constantly getting information. As soon as you don't, the game passes you by. Mm-hmm. And it's no different in home inspection, because at the end of the day, it's just like a game, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not doing the homework and you're not getting better at what you do, and believe me, I know a lot of baseball players who are great ball players, right? Great coaches. And they say to themselves, hey, you know what? I'm going to open a baseball business, and I'm going to put up batting cages, and I'm going to teach baseball. And that's all well and good, but they don't know business. And that's why most baseball coaches that do this, they fail. And they fail quickly, within a year. It's the ones that actually focus on how to run a business that are really going to, succeed. And there's very few of them. So I happen to work with one that's been around for 18 years because he gets the concept of it is a business. It's not a baseball facility. It is a business. And home inspection is a business. It's not home inspection. And we have to kind of change our mentality and think that way a little bit better.
Absolutely. And I think that, this is going to be a great event for that reason of this is specific to your industry. This is specific to the home inspection industry. And this isn't just giving you the meta view of it, right? This is going to get into that micro view and look at it and say, hey, here's the data we have. This is the research. Here's what we recommend. And then lay out the framework, because I was talking to Brad and Nikki. Actually, Brad was our first teaser episode for Momentum, so I had him on.
Oh, great.
That video went out this week. And then I was speaking to Joey as well, and it sounds like it all ties in, right? So you're laying out the finance stuff. They're going to speak on, how to connect it with marketing, and Joey's going to speak about, really giving people their vision. And his speech I really like because it's a lot about, here's what your vision is and here's how we get there. Because people can give you a vision, you can have a vision, but it really might seem like these massive leaps. And they're just ways to break it down to say, all right, these are just small steps towards my success. So I'm very interested to see, how all this ties together. And really, I'm excited to see what people get out of this and what kind of reaction.
Well, you make a really good point about Joe, and I call it big picture procrastination.
Yeah.
When you look at the big picture, sometimes it's so overwhelming you don't even know where to begin. So you just kind of sit back and think. you know, and
it's overwhelming.
Everything starts with small steps. I mean, you draw your vision out, you have your big picture on how you want to develop your business, but you have to take that first small step and start with a small one.
Like coming to momentum.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a great small step.
Exactly. Come to momentum. That's a good one first. So take your small step. Then the next day, take 2 small steps. Then the next day, take 3 small steps. And what you do is you start to build this movement toward massive action. Yeah. Right. And once massive action takes place, it's almost hard to stop a business at that point.
Yeah.
Once you're committed to it, and that's really one of the big keys is get over the big picture procrastination and get into the small details, because once you get down in there, things just start happening at a much more rapid pace. And again, this goes back to what I said at the very beginning of this conversation we need to do the little things well. If you do the little things well, the big things take care of themselves. Yeah. And that's something I actually say to 13-year-olds when I coach them to do. Yeah. Work on the little things, the big things will take care of themselves.
Absolutely. Wow. So thank you very much, Dave. Is there anything you want to tease a little bit about Momentum before we thank our audience?
Well, I think some of the 25 do's and don'ts are going to be very surprising to people. So, make sure you get there. This is a very inexpensive event. If you're going to be there anyway, stop in a day early, and get some information that could really have a direct impact on your business right away. And, we've put a lot of effort into developing this program, and we're very excited to kick it off with Fabi down in Florida. And so get there, guys. Just get there, because it's going to be worth your time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you very much, Dave, for joining us. This is just a quick tease about what Dave will be speaking about at the Momentum Series event, September 9th in Fort Lauderdale, the day before the Fabi event. So we really appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank you for all of the engagement again on Instagram. We really like connecting with everyone. And if you're not reached out with us, check out at Inspection Pro Joe Podcast. Anything you want to hear on the podcast, any guests you want to have on, any comments or concerns you have, reach out to us that way. And again, we would love to see you at this Momentum event. I think that a lot of people are going to be surprised about how much they get out of this event, and it just seems like it's going to be a great thing, for a lot of small businesses that want to take their business to the next level. So thank you for joining us, Dave. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for having us, Jake. Just go.
Yep, just go. All right. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Inspection Pro Joe podcast. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the bell so you won't miss our next episode. This episode was produced by Jake Aronson. This has been a Pair Payments production.